Hi guys and welcome. I have decided to be like every bitch ever and make a podcast. So here I am, day one of my podcast. I'll keep the intro short and simple. I won't be yapping too much about what it is and what it's all about because I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but I do want to kind of give an idea of what to expect from here on out with these videos, with this podcast of sorts. I'm calling it Diaries of Venus. The point of this podcast, get ready for this, is for me to yap, to get away with talking about bullshit for my entertainment mainly, and hopefully yours. But mainly I wanted this to feel like big sister talks. I wanted it to feel like you're talking with a best friend, big sister. I wanted it to give those vibes. I also want to talk about silly things, serious things. Like, I kind of want to just talk about everything that's on my mind, everything under the sun, and yap about it because that's what I do best. Talk. And yeah, I guess that's the brief introduction as to what this podcast is. I was heavily inspired by my really good friend RHIAN'S, and I'm going to put her podcast that I was inspired by in the description because you best watch that next. If you're not going to finish this, you're going to go watch that at least. She inspired me to do this, and I'm going to yap about some things in my life, some things that I want to talk about, some things on my mind. Like I said, some of this stuff can get a little serious. I wanted this to be my place to talk about the serious stuff so that I can keep all my other stuff more lighthearted. So if you're here for the more lighthearted level stuff, you might not see it here in this podcast. I'll be honest with you. I'll be real with you. Sometimes I might be a little silly because that's the way that I tell my stories. But I'm just warning you. This podcast might just be a little bit more on the serious side. That being said, now I can get into actually what the hell I want to talk about. For starters, I kind of want to talk about the WizardLiz situation. If nobody knows what that is, she's this YouTuber that makes she's made content that I've watched for a while, right? And it's, I guess the best way to explain it is kind of like motivational. Like, she gives advice about how to basically never let a man mistreat you. It's basically, it's geared towards women. And it's basically about how to carry yourself as a woman, how to be treated with respect, you know, how to make sure your partners treat you with respect, how to make sure you find the right type of partner that isn't going to treat you awfully, treat you like a terrible person. You know what I mean? Like, you get it. That's basically what she's always encouraging. She doesn't just do stuff about partnerships, though. She's also made videos about, you know, making sure that you take care of yourself and your mental health and make sure that you're in the best mental state as possible, you know? And I've been watching her for a while now, and recently it was made public that she was cheated on by her husband while she was 4 months pregnant, which is fucking crazy, first of all. And one of the biggest things about that situation that triggered me was how many people kept saying all she ever posts about is like how to avoid being in situations where you're cheated on, how to avoid finding the wrong man. She should have known better. Are y'all dumb? Like, that's what I want to kind of like, I need to rant about that for a minute because this whole concept of like, she should have known is crazy. She's not a fucking mind reader. She's not psychic. She gives advice. That'd be like if a therapist, like, went through a divorce and you were like, well, you should have known. Should have known what? We're not psychic. We are not, just because you have wisdom doesn't mean you have the ability to see the future. Like, that's, wisdom and psychicness is not the same thing. Like, they're not synonymous in any way, shape, or form. So I don't know why we're treating it like it is. People that have that mindset love to victim blame, but it's also this concept of like, is she not allowed to also be a human being because she gives life advice? She gives advice on how to have healthier relationships. In fact, I would argue that she still stuck to her own words and her own teachings because after she found out what he had done, she left his ass and she continued to just carry on now as a single mother, unfortunately. But fortunately, she has a good support system based on what she's said publicly, of course. And she has proven to her audience of women that no matter what comes your way, you're going to come out of it stronger than you were before, and you're going to be okay, no matter what. And she's continuing on for her future child, and I think that that's a beautiful thing. Truly. That's what she teaches, though. That is what she's been preaching. Don't let a situation with a man who cheats on you ruin your life like that. That's been what she's been saying, like, from the beginning. She is actually doing exactly what she's been saying. Like, she never said, I'm going to teach you how to never get cheated on again. She was like, I'm going to teach you what to do if you ever find yourself in a situation like that, so that you know your worth and you don't let something like that devalue you or make you feel worthless in any way, shape, or form. So the fact that people fucking think that that's somehow, like, evidence that, like, she doesn't know what she's talking about, whatever the fuck they say. Bullshit. The second thing is, I just hate people who cheat. Can I just rant about that for a second? I know that's, like, common sense. Nobody likes someone who cheats, but I, like, especially, like, that strikes a nerve for me, because anybody who ruins their family, like, ruins their, like, relationship with their child, ruins their relationship with, well, their wife or husband, whatever the situation is, anybody that cheats, you, like, don't have respect from me, like, period. My mindset of it, and what it always has been, is like, how hard is it for you to just say, hey, I don't want to be in this relationship anymore? I understand that part is hard, of course, but so you're in your stupid, like, dumb monkey brain, you're like, telling them how I feel in leaving in a way that's, you know, healthier and responsible and, you know, more respectful. No, why don't I just not tell them and then let them find out while I'm, like, having sex with some, like, random bitch they don't know, and they walk in on it, and then I shatter their heart and, you know, betray their trust. That will show them. You're afraid to hurt them, so you do the thing that would hurt them the most. Whenever cheaters say that, I was afraid to hurt them, so I hid it from them. You didn't give a fuck about hurting them. That's why you did what you did. You just don't want to admit that you get a thrill out of it. You think it's funny and awesome and cool to go behind their back and do shit like that because you want revenge or whatever the fuck. Like, there's always some reasoning behind it, and it usually is a selfish reason that has nothing to do with their partner. It has everything to do with their communication style. Either way, if you cheat, you're a pussy. And I don't fuck with pussies. I've never personally been cheated on, but trust me, if that ever does happen to me, if you happen to see me with a gun, mind your business. I'm kidding. That's a joke. But no, in all seriousness, if someone ever cheats on me, I'll kill him. Simple as that. The guy who cheated on WizardLiz, going back to that, his response sucked booty. I read that shit. And he, like, he was like, no, like, she shouldn't have made it public. Like, her whole relationship, she was very public about her relationship online. So I don't really blame her for making it public, if I'm honest. Like, if you're gonna cheat, I'm gonna also publicly flame you. Do you guys remember when Handsome Fella did that shit too? I'm sorry, not to bring that up, but, like, that was fucking crazy. Him calling her on the phone being like, please don't ruin my life. I kind of understand the element of that, of, like, just, like, can I just, like, I get it and I don't at the same time. Like, then why'd you cheat? Like, this is the type of, like, stupid behavior that people like cheaters like him do, where they, like, can't comprehend why they're in the wrong because they're the victims, because somehow cheaters always find a way to make themselves the victims. I cheated because I was unhappy in the relationship. I cheated because whatever the fuck it is, it's always something stupid where it's like, that's still not justifiable. Two wrongs don't make a right. Hello? Like, if your partner was doing something shitty, you tell them and you say, this is why I don't want to be with you, and then you leave. Oh my god, you killed my family, so I'm gonna kill your family. Two wrongs don't make a right, bro. I don't understand. Maybe I never will. Whatever. I'm gonna move on. Let me move on, because for some reason that topic brought another topic into my brain, but it's kind of off topic. This is going to happen a lot on this podcast. I don't stay on topic. Inner child healing. Out of nowhere. I've been doing a lot of that lately, and it's been awesome. The past, like, 4 or 5 years of my life have been just everything that happened in my childhood finally catching up to me, And like I had to like face it or else I was going to go crazy. It was all like personal shit. Obviously I'm not going to get into it because then y'all would be here forever. But it was just stuff that like things that happened within my family, things that happened within my home life. And it was stuff I was neglecting because, well, I do that. Confrontational stuff scares me, which is ironic considering what we were just talking about. But confrontation can scare me when it comes to like authority figures or like family members older than me. I'm not very good at that. And, well, I've gotten better at it, but like as a kid, I wasn't. So this is the stuff that caught up to me over time. And I feel like within the past year or two, since becoming 21 and 22, I'm 22 currently, but like I feel like I felt this shift happen when I was turning 21. I had a lot happen to me mentally, and a lot happened to me where I realized I need to like lock in, I need to grow up, and I need to start defending myself because I really only have myself at the end of the day. I don't know if anyone knows this, but I'm an only child. I'm an only child, and I don't really have anybody to lean on when it comes to intimate family situations. Like, I only really have myself. I mean, of course, I have the support from friends and family, but like, I don't have like a sibling to relate to. It's not like they don't really, it's hard to explain what I mean by that, but a lot of the times I feel like I'm dealing with a lot of it on my own, even if I have a support system. And I have found inner child healing to be one of the most rewarding, hard, but most rewarding things I've done in a long time. And inner child healing doesn't have to be, and if you don't know like exactly what I mean by that, how I would describe inner child healing is essentially just becoming one with your child self, embracing your childlike self more frequently, allowing yourself to feel emotions that you feel are coming from young you and not really adult you in certain situations that might be triggering. You know, like if you're experiencing something that triggers you in the way where it reminds you of something from your childhood and you can tell the feelings and emotions that you're having are connected to something from your youth, and like say it might not be the way you react to this one situation is like unique to your situation alone. Maybe someone else in your position might not react the same as you and you feel like it has to do with your trauma. That's when you kind of tap into your inner child and you allow yourself to kind of almost like your adult self has like a bird's eye view of your child self's like emotions and feelings. Because when you think about it, you're still your child self to this day because like you're still you. And all those feelings and emotions and experiences, you carry that throughout your whole life. 22-year-old me is going to be the same as 47-year-old me. I'm just going to be a little bit older. You know what I mean? You're going to have a little more wisdom, but you're still going to have this version of yourself, especially your child self, which is so foundational to who you are, because that was your growth. That's like how you became who you are. Like that was where you learned everything. I feel like that's the part of you that you carry with you the most. And I have found that tapping into my childhood self, tapping into my inner child, so to speak, has been one of the most rewarding and healing things, because it can be devastating and it can be traumatizing and it can be really scary, but it's also been really fun in like other circumstances. Like, for example, I'm much more creative now. I've been crocheting. As you can see, I made this hat, this little kitty hat. I made this all in a day with my grandma's scrap yarn, which was so fun to do. If you can't see it because it's a little bit off camera here, but I just have been collecting yarn, buying yarn, just yarn projects galore. I've been making yarn things for my friends. I've loved making physical art since I was a kid. Crocheting, knitting, whatever it is, I love doing it. My family's done it my whole life. I've always loved it, but I've been really trying to do it more, because the more that I allow myself to be creative and express myself creatively, that's when I feel the most happier. I feel like I actually like look more like myself when I'm wearing something that I've made. I feel like I I'm more myself when I'm doing something that's reflective of who I am. Like, for example, I've been doing a series where I've been playing Mario Kart Wii. Something that people might not know about me if they haven't been watching my streams of me playing that is when I was a kid, if you knew me as a kid, you would know this. But when I was like 6 or 7 years old, when the Wii like first came out and Mario Kart Wii was super, super like at its peak, I was obsessed with it. I played it every single day to the point where like my family associated it with me. My 7th birthday cake was Daisy, like Mario Kart Daisy. Best birthday cake I've ever had. Okay, Daisy's my bitch because Ginger, obviously that's me. And I was obsessed with Mario Kart, and it wasn't just like specifically Mario. I did like Mario, but it was like Mario Kart in general. Like that specifically was my hyperfixation. And I was obsessed with it for years. Any video, anything about it, I was just obsessed with. And I'm tapping back into that. I love using that phrase today. By making content now as adult me with Mario Kart Wii. I've been doing a series where I'm completing certain achievements in Mario Kart Wii. And it's awesome because you know what it's like? I'm basically making content that I feel like my child self would watch. That's been my goal this whole time. It's basically like I want to appeal to my past self's audience. Like I want to make content that I would actually watch. Like that's my goal. So that has been a huge motivator for me right now. That's been like a huge passion of mine, is making content that's so fun and so like I feel like it's the core of who I am. You know? Like that was what people associated with me for years. Like singing and Mario Kart were like the two things that people associated with me. Oh, and One Direction. Sorry, 3 things. Those three things were what people associated with me throughout all of like school. Like if you went to school with me, they would say singing, Mario Kart, and One Direction. That like I guarantee that's what they would say. And I'm going to incorporate all of those things, maybe not One Direction, but like everything else into what I do creatively. I've just been feeling a huge push to do that lately. And I don't know. I just think maybe that has to do with the people I've been making friends with lately. I don't know, because I know that I've made a lot of friends this year of people that are just like me, that grew up like me, having the same passions as me, grew up with the same passion of content creation, or currently just has the same really strong passion of content creation. I've been surrounded by people like that, and it's been really like reminding me that I don't know why I've never done this sooner. I mean, I did make videos. They were terrible, but I did make videos in middle school, high school, but they were just here and there, and I wouldn't really ever commit to it. And that was because I never really understood what it was that I really wanted to actually create. And I didn't really have that many resources, and I didn't really know entirely what I was doing. But now that I have equipment and things that I need, editing softwares, whatever the hell it is, now that I have that readily available and I know what I'm doing, I can finally express myself exactly how I've wanted to all this time. And it's such a healing journey for me. And having people in my circle now, having friends that I used to have shit friends, guys. Before all of this, my friends were assholes. I had shitty friends. Not all of them, of course. Obviously, if you're still my friend right now, you're not shitty. But like, I had really shitty friends last year, for example. And I got rid of a lot of them. And my life became 20 times better because the people you surround yourself with really do matter. They really do contribute to the way that you perceive yourself and the way that you also express yourself. Like, for example, I have this old friend group. And I also want to, before I even get into that, I want to also make sure that y'all know that I know that I'm not perfect too. Like, me talking about this isn't me being like, guys, I'm a victim and everyone was terrible to me and like I could do no wrong. That's not fucking true. Obviously, I did things too. Like, it's not going to be one of those things where I was perfect and blah, blah, blah. There were things I did that I wasn't proud of or just didn't feel like represented me properly. but I'm also a human being. They're human beings. It is what it is. But I did have a friend group before this where I just did not align with them well. Like, I felt like I was always mothering people within that group. I felt like I could never do anything right. I was like a mediator all the time when they would argue with each other. And then when it was like when I was actually involved in a situation, it felt like I could never do anything right, no matter what I did. Everything felt like it was being taken super seriously all the time. And it was just like, anytime I wanted to just have fun and just like relax and not worry about stupid drama and stupid shit, something new would always happen, even if it wasn't involving me. It was just always something within our friend group, and it was just constant. And it felt like the animosity towards each other was always there. Like, it always felt like I was viewed as a nuisance, and I didn't feel loved or appreciated by my own, friends. Like, I don't even really know if those were friends, because they didn't really act like I was. And it just, I don't know. It was something where I viewed them in a much more positive light than I feel like they viewed me. And then some of them even tried to, this year, come back into my life by messaging my current friends just a bunch of fake bullshit that never happened as a way to, like, ruin my career. And I just think, like, that's the kind of stuff that, like, I look back on my relationships with them in the past, and I'm like, I know I wasn't perfect either, but, like, did I deserve that? Like, did I deserve getting messages in my friends' inboxes telling, like, made up shit that didn't happen, with no evidence provided, because you just didn't want to see me happy or successful without you in my life? Like, we can just agree that we aren't good together as friends and, like, move on. Like, that is what it is. I didn't think you were inherently bad people. I still don't. But, like, that's the kind of shit where it's like, you're making it hard for me to say that now, because why the hell are you doing that? Whatever. I had friends like that. I had another friend, IRL, that I didn't realize how much they were impacting my life until, like, when I cut them off, I actually didn't even feel upset about it. I, like, genuinely kind of didn't even really recognize any emotion or feeling, or, like, no missing them, no, like, thinking about them. I didn't even, like, realize they were gone in a way until, like, months had passed where I didn't hear from them. And I was like, oh, yeah, no, we should keep it that way. Like, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes you just have friendships like that where that happens, and for the good, you know? And I had so many people in my life last year that, like, made me feel like I had no future, like I was a kid. You know what I mean? Like, even though I'm 22, I felt like I was treated like a kid by these people. Some of them made me feel like I was a villain for differences in opinions. Every mistake I would make was being held against me permanently. Like, I couldn't ever have that be something that I learned from. It was just really unfair. And it was like, can I just, like, be a human being without cancel culture becoming a thing within my friend groups, when we're not even, like, cancel culture, like, actually, like, leaked into, like, our friend dynamic? Why are you canceling me? Like, this is a Discord friend group, not Twitter. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of shit that just, I don't understand. And that was the kind of people I used to be surrounded by. So now when I look back on that, comparing them to my friends now, that shit is crazy to me, because I have some of the most emotionally mature, respectful, understanding, kind, communicative, and amazing friends now. Like, for example, when I do shit, like dumb shit, and when I make mistakes, and when I'm like a bitch sometimes, okay, maybe not a bitch, that's a strong word. When I just fuck up sometimes, like we all do, because we're human, and I, you know, need to be held accountable, my friends do so. They hold me accountable, but they do it in a way that's respectful. Like, they stand their ground, but they're still really respectful about it, and they're gentle and kind about it. It comes off in a way where, like, it's impossible to be upset, because, like, these people genuinely care about me and they want to work it out. They're just there to work it out. You know what I mean? Like, they don't want to argue. They don't want this to continue. They don't want things to go wrong. Like, they genuinely want to work it out. I've never had friendships like that. And it's crazy to me, because I'm so used to having to be defensive, because my friend groups kind of in the past these people I used to associate with made me feel like that was how I had to communicate. I had to be defensive. I had to be aggressive, I guess is the way. Like, not even physically, just emotionally. And like, I don't know, just, it's so crazy to me how much can change in a year, but also how much your friendships can change when you also start to respect yourself. You know, once I started respecting myself, I was surrounded by better people. Imagine that. And with that, I also started surrounding myself with people that were like me in terms of content creation, in terms of passions, in terms of morals and life viewpoints and all this shit, right? Like, I learn so much from my friends all the time. I have some of the smartest, most talented, and amazing friends. And that's why I love them so much. And I'm so grateful for them because, seriously, my friends saved my life. I can't stress that enough. Because, like, 3 years ago, I should say, my mental health sucked booty cheeks. Okay? And I know we all go through our phases, but, like, that time in my life sucked for, like, a lot of reasons. And I had no friends, no support systems, no hobbies, no passions. Like, there were things I really wanted to do, but I never really did them. And the only thing, like, I feel like I had at that time was school. And I had made Dean's List because I had, like, a 4.0 perfect GPA. But that was because I had literally nothing else to do. I immersed myself into my schoolwork because I didn't really feel like I had anything else left. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying anyone else who does that's what they're doing it for. That was just my situation. I mean, don't get me wrong. I was studying psychology. I was studying neurology, stuff like that. Stuff that I would do now if I could afford it. Like, I would still do school right now if I could afford it. Trust me. But that was stuff that, like, yes, I was super, super passionate about it, but it wasn't content creation. It wasn't making people laugh. It wasn't something that was my, like, heart and soul of what I really wanted. So it wasn't the same. It was just me doing what I felt like I had to do. I needed to have a job. I needed to have a career. It was me being stuck in food service, wanting a way out, which I did find a way out without needing college degree, you know, or without needing a college degree. So it's just kind of one of those things where I was so stressed and scared and I didn't know what was going on and I had life stuff going on and I was alone. And that's the worst part. And that's kind of why I brought this up, because not having friends there to support you by choice, by the way, because this was a lot of this was by choice. I distanced myself from people because I was like, no one wants someone like me to bring them down. But I can't stress you enough. Friends are the reason I'm alive. Friends and family are the reason that I am still here. When you are at your lowest, don't experience it alone. It is so tempting to want to isolate, to be alone, to go hermit mode. Don't do it. Don't give in. I should look at the camera when I say this. Don't give in. Don't do that shit alone, because that will kill you. And I'm not trying to be funny. I'm being serious because that is the biggest lesson I learned in my early 20s. I'm still living my early 20s, so I made it sound like I'm not. It's just one of the lessons I've been learning currently in my early 20s. That's what I meant to say. You might think that you don't have friends. In that time of your life, if you're going through a lot, it's really easy to think, I don't have friends, I have nobody. That's not true. I am telling you, you're going to tell yourself that. I don't give a fuck what you think. You're not alone. And even if it's not friends, you have family. Like, I kid you not, if you let any of this go on your own, if you try to handle any of this by yourself without any support system, that's what's going to mess you up. A support system isn't just a therapist. It isn't just professional help too. That is important. I'm not saying don't do that. Please do that. But on top of that, you also need a support system of friends and family. Like, I cannot stress that enough, because the people that have been there for me truly at the darkest times of my life have always been friends. Like, the ones that have understood me exactly what, like, have said what I needed to hear, have been there every second when I needed them most, and those have been friends. Okay? I just want to make that clear. If you ever go through something like that, make sure that the people you surround yourself with, the people that are in your life, are people that you would want to be there at the worst points of your life, because those are the people that are going to be there for you at the worst points of your life. You know what I mean? Like, make sure that your support system, make sure the circle that you surround yourself with reflects that of what you, like, it has to reflect how you think you deserve to be treated. If you think you deserve to be treated like shit, your friend group's going to treat you like shit. If you think you deserve to be treated with respect, kindness, honesty, whatever, that's what you're going to receive. So make sure that that's your type of friend group. Make sure that you establish a group of friends, or establish people that you're close to that are like that and have those qualities, because that's going to be your support system at the worst times of your life. That's why I read a TikTok comment that was like, make sure when you marry somebody that it's the person that you can imagine being there when your parents die. That was crazy, because that's so true. Not just someone you marry, but also your friends, family. Like, this is the shit that you literally, like, don't think about until you experience these things. Because that's true. Those are the people you have at your lowest. So make sure that they're good. You don't want any bad apples in there, right? And I got diagnosed recently-ish in 2023 with a rare chronic illness. And it's a brain condition. And it's, like I said, it's rare, so there's not a whole lot that can really be done about it. When I was first diagnosed, a lot of people in my life, not family, but friends, were not really that supportive. Some were, of course, but there were just some people in my life that kind of made me feel like I was an annoyance or a nuisance for anything that I would feel, anything I would experience. They made me feel dramatic. They made me feel like I was making stuff up. They made me feel like I was being a Debbie Downer for canceling plans over, like, debilitating migraines. Like, that's the kind of stuff that, like, you don't want those types of people in your life. Whereas now, the people in my life are not like that. It's the complete opposite. They're super supportive. I have amazing friends that I'm so grateful every day. Like, every single day I wake up and I'm like, thank God for my friends. Honestly. And my family. I'm just eternally lucky and grateful. And genuinely grateful is, like, not even a strong enough word, I feel like. Like, if there was a stronger word, I would use it right now. It's just such a deep love for the people in my life, because I just wish I had y'all 2 years ago. Like, 2-3 years ago, I needed y'all real bad. But that's okay, because I learned at my lowest exactly what I needed. So now, when I go through stuff, which I inevitably will and do, I have that support system. Like, recently, for example, I did lose my grandmother in April. And obviously grief is devastating and hard. And there were layers to that situation, and personal stuff, of course. And I'm still dealing with it. I mean, April was now it's 2 months, but it hasn't quite hit the 2-month mark yet. But it's been almost 2 months. And I'm still going through moments where it can hit really hard, and grief does trigger other grief. I've lost other family members. I lost my childhood pet, which was, if you're a pet owner and you're like a crazy cat lady like me, that feels like you lost a family member. So, like, you might as well include that into the mix. Grief is a very powerful thing, and it doesn't just have to be about death. Grief is just powerful because there's no other emotion like it. Grief is so complex because it's like a mix of nostalgia, love, anger, despair. It's like all of these feelings, some even known as positive, but like mixed into this awful thing. And some argue that death isn't technically an awful thing, depending on how you look at it, depending on the circumstance, all these, I can go on and on about the spiritual, what's the word? What's the word I'm looking for? I could go on about the fucking, I don't remember the word I'm thinking of. I'll put it right here. This is the word I was thinking of. That, I can go on and on about, like, that side of things when it comes to the topic of death. But I'm not going to, because this will be way too long. But I realized with this specific situation, compared to everyone else that I experienced it with, I have such an amazing support system. I know I keep repeating that, And this isn't me trying to rub it in y'all's faces either. It's because I want y'all to do the same. I want y'all to learn from this. Something interrupted me. So low-key, I lost my train of thought. Maisie's in the room with us. Here she is. Do you want to say hi? Maisie May, want to say hi? She's a lot to say. The tools that I have now to overcome certain situations are easier to use now that I have a good support system. It's important to have that. That's the big lesson of today. I feel like this is something that I have to remind myself whenever something really terrible goes on in my life, because we all inevitably experience something. And hopefully maybe you will also feel better when I say this. Maybe this is something you can remember in the future when or if you ever experience something similar. You're not defined by the things that you experience. Those things don't define you, but they do strengthen. They make your skin a little thicker. They make you a little bit stronger. You do learn to overcome things better. You do learn different ways to process hard things. And it doesn't make everything easier per se, but it does make it feel less burdensome. You tend to come out of it happier than you are. Like, you don't look back on these situations with like, oh, I hate that this happened to me. I hate that these people did this to me, whatever the fuck. You look back on it more so of, I'm glad I had these lessons because it made me a better person. I'm glad that these experiences shaped me to be the person that I am. It's hard, but if you allow yourself to change your perspective to be that way, and you utilize your strength and all of your tools and all of your past experiences to assist you during your current stuff, that's what makes you come out of it stronger. That's what makes you come out of it more level-headed. That you come out of the situation feeling better about yourself. I don't know if I'm making sense, but I just think that we tend to think if you go through a lot that you are miserable. You tend to be like, I've been through a lot. My life sucks. But I see it more as I've been given, even if you believe in this like religiously, spiritually, or even just coincidentally, just the way things are. I've been given the gift of life, and I've been given the opportunity by some, maybe the higher beings above or nobody at all. I've been given this opportunity to learn this lesson, to gain this wisdom. So rather than seeing it as glass half empty, you see it as glass half full. You see it for what it is, a lesson to make you a better person, to make you stronger. You really have to tap into sometimes, like when you're at rock bottom, sometimes you tap into a strength you don't know that you have. You know what I mean? You'd be surprised what you can do when you really are desperate for some sort of structure, some kind of strength, something to depend on. When you need to rely on yourself, you can really show up for yourself in those moments, and you don't expect it sometimes. That being said, spirituality is a really important thing to me. I won't get too much into it because I know spirituality is not something a lot of people like to talk about if you're not into it, if it's not something that you are necessarily a part of or, believe in. I understand that completely, and I respect it as well. So you can always skip this part if you want. Spirituality for me has been a huge part of my life since about 2017. I feel like my spirituality has guided me during very dark times. It has given me strength. It has given me hope, faith. Sometimes it's all you have in certain circumstances, and it's a beautiful thing when you realize like your spirituality can sometimes be the one thing that's always there for you when no one else or nothing else is. One day I'll do like an entire podcast discussing spiritual beliefs of mine and like kind of go in depth more on that. This won't be that podcast, but I do plan on doing something where I go in a little bit more in depth about it, especially because it is one of my favorite things to talk about of all time. But I think also if you're a very spiritual person or you have a religious belief system, if any of that applies to you, tap into that more too. I actually encourage it. I think we all benefit from spirituality in some way, shape, or form if you believe in it. Because it is such a powerful thing. And it has been there for me when I've needed it most. And I won't get too, like I said, I won't get too much into that because I want to save that for another time. But that's a good support system as well. Just, it's like, if I had to have like a tier list of the things that I think are the most important in my life, it would be like family, friends, and my spirituality. Like, by far. I think also a huge part of my life journey right now is the fact that I've really started to find myself through content creation. Like, genuinely. As I said earlier, making like content that I feel like my past self would watch. When I was a kid, literally a young kid, I was watching YouTube. Like, a little bit uncircumcised? No. Unsupervised. I was like a little unsupervised watching Smosh, Tobuscus, PewDiePie, other content creators, Ryan Higa, what are the other ones that made like My Name's Rolanda, Alex, and no, Wasabi Productions, that's what it was. I watched all of those. Okay? I know Dan and Phil. I know I'm forgetting a lot, but like there were so many I watched growing up. Shane Dawson is another one. That's crazy. But I feel like I always wanted to do YouTube since I was young, though. Like, I'm not saying, like, oh, I wanted to do YouTube since I was, like, a high schooler. Like, no, I wanted to do YouTube since I was, like, 4. Like, okay, maybe not 4, but, like, young. Realistically, 8 years old. I think 8 years old was the age, because, 2011, because I remember that was when I made my YouTube account. It was either 2011 or 2012 was when I made my YouTube account. And then I really decided that I wanted to do it when I was like of that age. I posted videos, but of course they were awful. Like one was me singing, "Never mind, I'll find someone like you." Like, girl, no. Or no, it wasn't. It was Rolling in the Deep. Baby, I have no story to be told, but I've heard one on you, and I'm gonna make your head burn. Did I hit that? I kind of killed that. Oh, and hey, soul sister, hey there, mister, on the radio, stereo, the way you move ain't fair, you know. Let me know if you want more of that in the future. I'm just playing. I would make videos on my Nintendo Switch. I would make YouTube videos that I would never post. But I would make videos on my Nintendo 3DS as a kid. Keep in mind, like, Nintendo 3DS, like, there was, like, if you made videos, I don't think they would have sound if you did, like, the kind where you could, like, stop and start, like, the stop motion. There was something about that where, like, one of the ones that I would always do, ignore the motorcycle, I'm so sorry. But one of the things that I would do, one of the, like, settings I would have, the type of video setting that I had, like, whatever the fuck it's called, wouldn't have, like, audio. So I would have to, like, do silent films, literally. I think I still have one to this day on my Nintendo 3DS. Like, I can pull it up right now if I want to. That fucking motorcycle is gonna piss me off. Give me, like, 2 seconds. Maisie, you want to say something while that motorcycle's sitting there? And what else? But I also made, like, stop motion stuff. I had a camera at one point, and I remember making videos on, like, this camera, but it was, like, a cheap camera from, I don't know, Target, and it probably made, like, the worst videos of all time. And, I mean, they're nowhere to be found. Like, if I wanted to find them, I don't think I could, unfortunately. Most of those videos ended up deleted, gone, whatever the hell. But it's still something that I did a lot. And it was something that I could tell was going to be a passion of mine in the future. And then I got super into photography and videography in high school. These are all things that, like, over time contributed towards my passion for doing this. And then when I started meeting other people where this is like their actual full-time job, I was like, holy shit, like you guys were just like me. Like y'all just like started off just like me, bored as hell, and you want to entertain, and I can do that. I can do that, I think. Guys, I can be funny. I can do the funny sometimes. That was very millennial, and I'm never saying that again. I've been traveling. Like, are you kidding me? I've always wanted to travel, and I've been doing it more, doing this as like for funsies. I've learned so much about editing, and I've learned so much about so much stuff that I can't believe I didn't do it sooner. So if you're watching this and you want to do YouTube and you're telling yourself, I don't have a camera, I don't have editing software, I'm telling you, if you have a phone, there's your camera. If you have an iPhone, iMovie is, I believe, free. So download that. There you go. Bro, use CapCut. Like for TikTok. I don't know. TikTok is like a really good resource lately to post videos on. I mean, it's not the same as YouTube, but it's still like, it's a good starting point. You can get used to what it's like to make content, to have people perceive you. You know what I mean? To have videos made, edited, whatever the hell. The equipment doesn't have to be perfect, because as long as it's obvious to the viewer that you're passionate, that you care about what you're doing, that what you're making your video about is something that you are either knowledgeable about, depending on the circumstance, that you care about, that you're passionate about, whatever whatever it is, if it's obvious to your viewers that you like what you do, that you're having fun, that you are doing this to entertain and not simply for money, and not to harm others or to be an asshole or whatever the hell, you're gonna be fine. And it's important to know it doesn't happen overnight. It's a process, and you have to commit, but it's so rewarding because you're doing something you genuinely love, and it doesn't feel like a chore. If it starts to feel like a chore, you need to change something. You need to do something different. But if it's fun and you're enjoying yourself, then you chose the right thing. And I feel like that can be said about any career, not just content creation. But it took a while for me to realize that. And I can't wait for my future. I can't wait to really delve into that. I can't wait to continue to make content that's silly and dumb and makes my friends laugh and makes you guys laugh. And I'm just excited. I'm excited because I feel like I'm finally doing what I want to do, what Mallory wants to do, not what everyone else wants me to do. I'm doing what I want to do, and I'm doing what I think is actually represents me. And that's awesome. So now I'm going to conclude the end of this podcast by saying it's important. This is the conclusion. This is the conclusion, the conclusive portion of my podcast. Have good friends. Your support system is vital to who you are. It's vital to your future. It's vital to your happiness, to everything. Don't cheat or I will kill you, as Melanie Martinez said. When you allow yourself to connect with what you're passionate about, when you allow yourself to really deeply and truly connect with the things that you love to do, that's when you become your happiest in your life. So do it. Don't let your dreams stay dreams. Make it your reality. What else? I think that's a good starting point. Once again, I love to yap. So if you have anything that you love to talk about, I want you guys to yap with me. Yap in the comments with me. Okay? If you have stories to tell, thoughts you want to contribute, please, I will answer right back to y'all because I love having these conversations. I love talking. So if you guys have anything else you want to add, to chime into, like if there's any thoughts, feelings, anything you want to say, add, anything, please share with me. And I love to see what anyone else has to say, anything of the sort. I hope that this first episode was not too boring and not too depressing because I wanted it to be positive. despite the fact that it was a heavier subject. All the podcast is supposed to just be me talking about what's on my mind, giving advice, feels like big sister type energy, but also like every once in a while I might talk about some random shit that's like pop culture because I'm bored. Like literally. But either way, thank you for hanging with me, and I appreciate all the love and support that I've had within these past couple months of my brand new journey as a content creator. This atmosphere, it's just been so welcoming. I feel like I'm actually belong here, and that's awesome. And I love everybody here. I'm gonna leave now, and I'm gonna shut up. Thank you for watching. Bro fist. Oh.